welcome back to Factorio with me, JD. We were this episode going to do more about oil up here, which is basically stopped at the moment because we're all backed on petroleum because we're not using it. But I looked at the power and it's fluctuating. As you can see here, we peaked out right here. We're using all our available power. Right now we're a little bit lower because things are turned off. We're only producing 6k iron a minute, no copper, no, everything's basically turned off. So we're going to go do something about power. We want 20 boilers. I'm going to take extra steam engines. What's that? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. I'm going to take 70 this trip. And there's a reason for that, which I'll show you guys in a moment. And some pipe. Oh, burner inserters. I forgot the burner inserters. Take half, put some back. So I've only got 20 because I need, where are we? 20 boilers, and I will use 20 burner inserters for that. Now, in theory, yeah, these are all ratioed out, so they don't produce more if we don't have more. Oh, that power pole. So it's saying build 17, which takes up to 50. Which, no, 50? 60, yeah. So, last episode we did the circuitry for these, so they will maintain the same amount of number of boilers and steam engines and burner inserters. So we don't overproduce, because eventually we hope to get out of coal power. That was the other thing I wanted. I wanted some steel. I wanted, no, not that one. I wanted that one. Because the base is getting big. So it's time to build ourselves a car to get around in a hurry. Put our car down, put some fuel in it, and let's drive over to our power plant. Tree, rock, go away rock, tree, take our express lane, power pole, oh, they actually have to be fixed. Did I just see yellow power? I did. Yep, so we're maxing out our power plant. Our lights coming on at night definitely do not help the situation. But it's nice that we can see stuff. Hitting trees is fine. It's the power poles like that one that you want to dodge. Alright, that'll do us. So, we have one steam block with one belt. We're going to build a new steam power plant right above. But first things first, let's make sure we can feed it. We've got our one belt out. We've got our little priority thingamajiggy bob in here. I need to pick up all of that. And I cannot pick up a wooden chest. What can I do? I can put my car back down and pick up a wooden chest. Oh, this is not going to work. You've got inventory space. You can have some splitters and a long-handed and some crap. Let's put down the 2 belt and repair the 2 belt so they become one item. Hang on. Make some landfill. Car can have the landfill as well. That'll clear some space. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some more power. Get power poles are in the way. This is always a power pole in the way. We're going to cut... which line are we going to cut? We're going to cut that line. Yeah, we're going to cut that line, which of course is not empty. That's alright, we've got some burnable chests down here. We can fill it with crap. We're going to put our belt into this array. power poles. We've all been through this 1,000 times. We know how setting up new belts works. No. Really? Can I reach? No. Of course not. Okay. Fix up this one power pole because I know it's going to bother somebody. Oh look, now there's one on the other side. Great. Done. Alright. We're going to put in a splitter. Because we've now got 2 belts coming in, we need to have 2 belts coming out. And it's much nicer when they're all balanced perfectly between one set and the other set, rather than being independent of one another. Now I know this is overkill, but it's fine. We will end up upgrading, adding more coal lines in the future, I'm sure. So we've got 2 belts in. Now, of course, this has been turned off. It's already running out of power because a steam array uses a yellow belt worth of coal. We're going to bring that along, and we're going to bring our red belt to, let's say here. Now, our burner cerners they're doing an all right job. They're keeping some power going. You know, we have dropped from 25 megawatts down to 35 megawatts down to 20. But the burner inserters, they'll at least keep some power. Alright? It's a bit of a dodgy system, but it works. And sometimes you just need to accept that if things work, don't play with them. I prefer to have some power rather than, you know, I cut a belt by mistake, or a biter cuts a belt on purpose, and everything just dies. Do I have any coal? I do have some coal. We're going to power you up, you up, you up, you up. There's a whole bunch of power poles on the line, so these guys are all about to be fine. And system's back up and running again. 29. It should peak back out at about 30 megawatts. Not quite there. Why not? I don't have enough water. That's the problem. So pipes have a throughput limit of 1200 water per minute. Pipes do, rather. And because we've got this extra pipe to get here, well, there's actually a loss. So this system can't quite maintain the 35 kilowatts that it should. And we're about to make it worse by putting down another lot and doing the same thing. We're going to run a bit of pipe to get there. It's less than ideal, but it's what we're going to do. And JD learns do not throw grenades at feet again. Okay. Clear out that, clear out that, clear out that. Alright. We need a pump. Single offshore pump. We're going to put you here for argument's sake. And I'm going to bring the water along. We need a belt of coal. Which, okay, so, as I said, each one of these uses a full yellow belt of coal. We've brought a red belt in. A red belt is 2 yellow belts worth of coal. If I do that, a red belt is 2 yellow belts. Okay, because they move, where are we? Twice as much. That moves 13.3, that moves 26.6. So I can split this right here and essentially, hang on. Let's do that. There we go. Save myself a bit of belt. North. We want to bring you up the side. So I've just saved myself just a tiny bit of belt. Yeah, let's go around the pipe. It's just quicker and easier. One tree survived. I hate lone trees. Okay, we need to have boilers. We're going to do 10 in a row. Just to try and compact things down. Put down our burner inserters, and of course it happens to be dark. We'll get lights on in a minute. We're then going to put down our steam engines. Oh, that didn't line up. Is there a tree there? 2 lone trees. No, wrong item. One of them. So, drop our steam engines down there. Grab our power poles. And put our power in next. There, and there. We're going to put a bit of straight pipe between them because the power poles are now taking up space. And done. So it's one side done. We need to hook up. Where is our water pipe? Our water pipe's there. Okay, so we're going to bring that out, that up. We're going to blueprint the whole thing, rotate it, make sure there's 1 tile separation for this belt of coal. That goes in there. No, I want that there, I want that there, I want that there. I know it's a bit of a waste of undergrounds, but undergrounds at least let me walk between things. So, put down our boilers again, our burner inserters, our steam engines, there and there. Come on, game. Our pipe, power pole. Whoops. Hook up our power back to the main grid. I've got a power pole on the end. Of course I did. Okay. Last thing is run our belt in, and all should be happy in the world. We've seen this. We've seen this 1 pump, 20 boilers, 40 steam engines, assembled plenty of times. Except there's 2 catches with this build I've just made. One, you probably won't see it now. Let's put a bit of yellow belt in there to slow things down. If we watch our lovely little guys, they're struggling hard to grab off a red belt. But of course, red belt's what we carry nowadays because we've basically finished with red belt, yellow belt. I mean, the only reason I've got a little bit left over is because I just ripped up some. So, to fix that, these guys just need yellow belt just underneath them. It means 10 yellow belts all you can need, and normally you can just handcraft that if you really need to. So we'll clear the belt again. We'll watch it. Because the coal slows down, these guys find it a lot easier to grab, and it's just one of those quirks with burner inserters. Dump the coal in these, so it's not my inventory. Alright. So, step 1, make more power. And as you can now see, oh look, power problem solved. We're only using 20 megawatts, but we can now produce, in theory, 35. That's okay for now, but let's improve the system. I'm going to put down some tanks, because tanks are cheap. Tanks are iron and steel plate, and in the tech tree... tank. This one here. It's red science. It's cheap. You can get it early on in the game. A boiler. And where did I get this from? So a boiler consumes 3.6 megawatts worth of coal, right? And then has a 50% efficiency on it, so it only puts out 1.8 megawatts. One steam engine, two steam engine use 900 kilowatts each. Multiply them together, 1.8 megawatts. This is why it's one boiler to two steam engines. But at the moment, and you can see, where are we? Fluid consumption. It's 7 out of 30 per second. And that's where we get the other number from. A pump, offshore pump, pumping speed of 1,200 per second. If this guy's consuming 30 and this guy's consuming 30, that means this guy has to be putting out 60. 60 times 20 of them is 1,200. So that's how we get our ratio. One pump does 1,200. 20 boilers use 1,200 water per second. Like I said, there is a loss as you go over the pipes. So it's perfect if that pump is directly connected to this boiler and you run them in a straight line. Then it's perfect. Running it through these pipes, you have a loss. And undergrounds actually have a less loss than a straight pipe, because this is one pipe segment. That's two pipe segment. Whereas a normal pipe is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 pipe segments. Okay? So that loss is, what? Almost 10 times as high. So adding a steam tank on the end means that a steam tank holds... Tell me how much it holds? Doesn't. No, you'll just have to take my word for it. It holds 25,000. 25,000 steam. If this boiler's turned off, the steam then backflows from the engine back into the steam engines. Sorry about that. Spent too long talking already today. So these guys are still running perfectly happy off the steam in this tank. And as you can see, this one's gone up, that one's gone up. They're all about level, except this guy's going backward. And all it's doing is, this guy is at max potential, producing 60 steam. This guy's only using 8 at the moment, and this guy's using 8 at the moment. So we're using 16, we've got what? 44 left over. The 44 is going into this tank. Nice and simple. Nothing complicated about it. That's what's happening with that excess steam. Which means we can draw on that steam later. Now at the moment, every steam engine, every boiler, they're all independent of one another. Why not share resources? With one pipe along the back, all those tanks now share the same amount of steam. We'll do the same again. We'll get one pipe. We'll hook it all the way up to here. So this guy's got 9. This guy's got 7.7. Put in the last pipe, and instantly this guy will fill up with a little bit of steam from all these tanks. Okay, and they'll all equalize in pressure. So now we've got the top half and the bottom half are all equal. Extend that pipe out 1. Extend that pipe out 1. Get some undergrounds, bring it down. Hook it in there. Now this side at 10k will now equalize this side. Alright, so now all the steam engines all share the same steam, the same everything. And of course, as you can see, a steam engine has an in-out at the top and an in-out at the bottom. So steam flows bi-directional. Steam, hang on, let's grab a boiler. Steam for a boiler only flows out, and the water, we've got little in arrows, so it's bi-directional as well. Okay, great, we've got more power. But what happens for those times when things are kicking on and off? The light's turning off right now. But when we get to laser turrets and different parts of the base, ticking on and off, what happens then? Well, normally your power system fails because it has a maximum throughput. We know each steam engine produces 900 kilowatts worth of power, and we've got 40 of them normally. So in theory, normally we can produce 36 kilowatts worth of power. I normally tell people to work on 35. It's an easier number to work with, and not quite as accurate. but you're pretty much guaranteed 35, 36 is optimal conditions, which don't always happen, as we know in Factorio. So, if you work on 35, that means right at the moment we could produce 70 kilowatts. But when we start putting down laser turrets, and when different machines kick on and off rapidly, you might need over 70 kilowatts for half a second. Because you're not producing that 70 kilowatts, things slow down. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to basically artificially increase the power of our system by putting down some extra steam engines. Oh, I'm going to put down 2 rows beside one another. I'm going to leave a gap of 1 and put down a 3rd. And of course, I got myself stuck in the middle. Now, as we worked out earlier, water pipe puts out 120 per second. Which this whole, all the boilers turn 120 water into 120 steam per second. And then all these steam engines will use up to 120 steam per second. Whatever's left over goes in the tanks. Whatever's left over in the tanks comes through to these pipes. So they're all merged together. Whatever's left over passes through this pipe to go to these steam engines. Which means on the left-hand side of this pipe, we can only support a maximum for the pipe of 40 steam engines. I've just put down 21. So I'm using half the maximum for a pipe, but it also means that I have 61 steam engines, so not quite a perfect 50% increase, but close to. Now, all we need is power, which of course I boo-booed. That power pole goes up 1 tile. No, let me through. Yeah, it's not designed to be walked through, but that's fine. You should never have to walk through this system. Put that one down there. And that one there. And let me out. You cover the bottom 2. No, you cover those 2. And you cover those 2. Okay. So, that is our new power setup. Right, it's repeatable. It's efficient to a point. As I said, we're producing extra power. We're putting it into the storage tanks. Each storage tank can run 2 steam engines for about 6.9 minutes. So call it 7 minutes worth of power. So if you cut off your coal line for whatever reason, right, even including these guys, because they're all ratioed out, they can't run faster than max speed, right? You can't consistently pull more than 40 boilers off this system, right? It means you should maintain about a 7-minute backup battery worth of steam here. Now, there is a chance that you're pulling more out of that. There's also a higher chance you're pulling less out of that. So, you could still say that, look, worst comes to worst, I have 5 to 7 minutes worth of backup power in all these steam engines, steam tanks. On top of that, like I said, you've gone from 35 kilowatts to, I'm not doing maths at this time, about 50, it says 52, but 50 kilowatts max potential power. Consistent power, 35. Now, same story. We need to, or I need to, do the same for these ones. Just put the tanks on, use the excess steam for something. Run a pipe all the way along. And run some steam engines off the back of this. 4, 5, 6. I don't have that many steam engines. Okay. We'll do that then. And as you can see, this belt suddenly has a larger draw on it because all these tanks need to fill up. These boilers are now going to go flat out. There's no extra steam stored in the actual boiler. These guys have been running for a while, and you can see all of them have an internal buffer of 200 steam because they've filled these tanks. Whereas these guys are doing the exact opposite. There is no extra steam. And you'll see as we get close to the end, we're not quite pulling a full yellow belt yet, but the system has a potential to pull a full yellow belt worth of coal off, off the belt. Actually, no, I think coal's got. Where are we? Resources. No, pick some up. And pick up a bit of wood. Coal has a 4. There we go. So coal has twice the fuel value. So you only need it half as often. So it will pull. It's that weird maths thing. From memory, it won't quite consume a full yellow belt worth of coal, but it will consume more than a full yellow belt of wood, which I have put back in this box. That's right. So I normally, I work easy maths again. I just work on a full yellow belt worth of coal per and power poles the same. Yeah, 4 megajoules. So I work on a yellow belt per steam assembly. Yeah, per power plant. Maths is not 100%, but it's close enough. So yeah, that's what I'm going to call this episode. Yeah, I've now shown you guys how to make your own steam-powered backup batteries. Accumulators are great. They go well with solar panels, and everybody would like to build them early game to have some sort of backup battery, because normally you start building lasers, because lasers need batteries. But the catch is, if you're building batteries for your accumulators, so you have some sort of backup power to handle those peak loads of lasers firing off, dealing with biters, then you're not putting those batteries into lasers, and they use a lot of batteries. So with the advantage of early red level science, you can build your own backup system, like I've done, to handle those peak loads. But yeah, that's it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. I should probably hook this belt back up. It goes back up to smelting, which, as you can see, is chewing absolutely nothing, because the whole base is basically off. We're producing, or we're using 16 iron plate per minute, and 0.1, no, we're now using 0 steel. So yeah, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to jump in my little car, and go back, and I know you can't start without coal, and prep for the next episode. So thank you guys for watching. As always, I hope you're enjoying the series. Hope you've learnt something along the way. And as always, when the end screen pops up, you'll find the subscribe button for the channel on the left hand side. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love you to. I'd love you to also join us on our Discord, our Patreon, Facebook, and even Twitch, because I occasionally stream on Twitch about once a week. On the right hand side, you should find a link to the playlist for this series, along with a random video selected for you guys by the wonderful YouTube bot. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!